Wow. Experiences after experiences. So Robert and his beautiful wife are right there. They drove 200 miles up this amazing winding road to collect sage, and they go out and gift it to people. And I didn't know that, but I didn't know that's why they were collecting it. But I figured they were collecting it to sell it. So I was like, hey, instead of me going down into the bushes and having to change and everything, I was like, oh, I can just bless them and be like, oh, I'll get some sage. And, I tried to give them money and they didn't want to take it. And then I was just like, well, here, you blessed me, I'll bless you, just have a pop or whatever, something later. And it's just an amazing experience. But his name's Robert. And I have a lot of Roberts in my life that have helped shape me. So I'm just saying, be the best you can in whatever state you're in. No, I'm not talking California, but just do the best you can and try to help others. And this place makes me emotional. Wow, I was like convulsing in the last video. Uh, but this sage smells amazing. He puts it in a little bundle of red string, and he says that's for fire. One of the elements. And he said when you burn it down, make make sure you take the red string off and don't burn that because you don't know what you're breathing in with that. And I was like, oh yes, I definitely try not to burn anything that's not natural anymore. But this is just amazing, 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 amazing. Oh, oh. You got to get out here and see the world. I know some of you have, and some of you are, and I'm just suggesting that more, 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 and maybe that's just me. I'm a Sagittarius, so I was just reading today, as a matter of fact, about Sagittarians and that they love to adventure and roam and don't like to be nailed down, and that is me, and that is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life is traveling. It just came to me just now, but I mean, it's been coming to me. I've been manifesting it by driving on these road trips, I call them, but it's just a continuous journey of life. Oh, and love and happiness, peace, tranquility, just epic, epic adventures. Oh, this smells incredible. Thank you, Robert. I didn't introduce myself to his wife, but she was beautiful, beautiful soul, and they're gonna go out and gift that sage, and I'm gonna gift as much as I can. That's what I'm gonna do, and I know a lot of people are thinking like, oh my God, how can he afford all this stuff? And I took out a small personal loan to make this trip happen, and so next month will be a little tighter, but it was so worth it. Oh wow, just incredible. And living out of my car. I haven't showered in 2 days. I sleep in my car. I did change and use some dude wipes. I bought them a while ago with Heather as a joke. I mean, I needed them for my frequent trips and stuff and going out in the woods and who knows what I touch. But it's so I bought the dude wipes and they have these epic, little slogans and stuff on it that are just hilarious. But they came in very handy today. It's the first time I've used them, and I'm very blessed and very grateful to have that. And it's more than our ancestors had. You know, some of our ancestors were living off this land and having to find shelter under a rock or tree, or build shelter. And we they evolved, and now we fly around and go to other planets and shit. It's amazing what can become and what will become and has already became. And just be grateful for what you have. Told you this place makes me emotional. I'm emotional anyway. I've been emotional all my life, and I just held it in, and that's what caused all the illness. I know it now, is holding all my shit in. And I heard recently somebody, a psychic was like, you know, psoriasis came up somehow. I don't know how, but I did suffer from psoriasis, and I haven't for years. But or not years, I guess about 2 years since my healing started. But mainly, I think because I let go of a lot of my anger towards myself, towards people I thought did me wrong, and some of them did, and now I get it. They were acting out in whatever state they were in, whatever state of mind or state of being they were in. They were just acting out on that. So it's all good. I get it. Everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that. And sometimes it's hard to swallow the big ass pill of reality and say, wow, yeah, I really fucked that up. And I did. I fucked some shit up. And I probably, unintentionally fucked up some people. Maybe they can't love again. Maybe they can't, whatever. But I know that I've hurt people. And that is the reason I healed. I cannot stand hurting anything. Be kind to everything. I mean, I literally have felt like bad for walking on grass or plants, or I draw the line at like rocks and sand. I don't think they have souls. But anything that grows and like can live, grow, and die, I feel bad for hurting it. And it sounds crazy, you know. And I know a lot of it was put here for us, so it's okay. But I still don't like stomping on grass, or even walking on it. But I love being out in nature, so it's take the good with the bad. But it's like I bless it and honor it whenever I use it, just like I did when I shot the deer last year, and I cried like a baby. But I honor it, and I put the deer back out into the woods. And my sister-in-law Amy, who I love, she saw an eagle eating on it, and that makes my heart so fucking happy. You have no idea. I mean, part of me, when I put my best friend down last week, you know, when I put her down, I seriously wanted to take her body and go put it, in a sacred place in the woods, and bless the land and bless the scavengers, and just, you know, I would have wanted an eagle to eat her. Oh, but anything, just to bless more people or more animals or the land, and instead of having her cremated. And he said he puts all the cremations out in his property, which I was happy with. But but a big part of me wanted to put her out, you know like if I would have known I would have been here. Wow, I would have blessed her body in this land. People question. I don't know if they're abilities or curses or what, but it's my reality, and I can literally feel people's stuff, and literally feel, even plants and stuff, and is it me projecting that pain? Sometimes I think it is, and I'm trying to work on that, and not say, you know what, because that tree split in half, or that poor tree or whatever. Maybe the tree was like two brothers, two Siamese twins, and they hated each other, and they finally broke free. You know, they finally broke free of their pain, their perceived pain. Think of things like that, or the homeless couple I talked to yesterday on the street, and was blessed enough to give them some money. Um, I asked them how they got there, and she said she lost her job and couldn't afford to pay rent anymore, and they didn't have a vehicle, and there they are on a tent on the side of a highway with their belongings underneath a blanket, you know, behind the tent, and trying to survive. And then I drive through these hills and, all through California, and it's like you go from pure living in like just the bare necessities, maybe not even that. And then you come around the corner, and then all of a sudden there's a millions and millions of dollars of mansion and shit, and it's like, ah, ah, that fucking hurts on a cellular fucking level. How could you drive by that every day, having millions, and drive by the projects or the slums or whatever people want to call them, the ghetto, or all these horrible terms, and maybe people call them a term of endearment, like, oh, I grew up in the ghetto, that's why I'm such a badass. And it's like, I'm sorry you grew up in the ghetto. I definitely didn't grow up with abundance, or at least I didn't perceive abundance then. I grew up in tremendous abundance. I never had to worry about having a roof over my head, even with all my mom and dad's stuff. I always had a place to sleep, whether sometimes at a friend's house, but you know, I was always welcome at either one of my parents' house. I didn't feel welcome at the time, but I just knew there was more out there, more available, more, there had to be something bigger, something greater, something much greater than the Iron Range in Minnesota. And now I know there is, and it's everywhere. The Iron Range is awesome. It's got its own pain, you know. Motherfuckers don't like to hug. Oh, I hate that. I hate using the word hate, but I really hate unemotional people. Everybody's detached. Everybody's like, ugh, like, hey, stay back. And like, ooh, I want to laugh, but I'm too broken to laugh. And it's like, oh, oh, ooh, everywhere you look, everywhere you go. And it's, like I said, it's a blessing and a curse, because I try to, you know, help them with their pain. If it's just to say, hey, how you doing, man? Or rub their back, or, whatever. Just give them a little bit of human contact, even though they don't want it. Most people, like, welcome it, but they're afraid to show it because, especially for men, ran into my amazing friend Huck growing up in Walmart, and he was with one of his daughters, or his daughter. It's pretty sad that I don't even know, because he's not on social media, so I don't know him well anymore. But I could see the pain in his eyes and his face, and I went to give him the bro hug, right handshake, and bring it around the back of the shoulder. And he stepped back and looked at me like I was fucking insane. And to him, I was. I get it. We're programmed that way. We're raised in it. We're born, conceived in pain, born in pain, raised in pain, add more pain ourselves, and then we try to muddle through life, having to do what the man tells us we got to do. Well, if you can make ends meet doing what you love, like that artist I met yesterday, he sits around and drinks beer and makes metal sculptures all day and sells them for thousands and thousands of dollars. That is fucking awesome. Do it. I'm sure he's got to pay the man something like land tax or, business tax and all that other stuff, but it's like he's doing what he loves, and he's doing very well at it, obviously, because he had very nice, amazing art, but and then just everything around him was beauty, and his Shadow was just incredible. So Ricardo and Shadow, oh man, thank you so much for yesterday, because I needed it. And Robert and your beautiful wife with the sage, oh, thank you so much. I needed it. And it's so awesome to go out into society and meet beautiful people doing beautiful things. And I am sorry I can't help everybody. I want to. And if I can just help one person, that's why I make all these videos. If I can just get to one person or bring one person along with me and be like, hey, you know what? It doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to, be programmed to consume. You don't have to have everything right now. You don't have to have instant gratification. I mean, you can get instant gratification anywhere you go. Just look for the beauty in everything, People will be up here and they'll be like, oh my God, it's cold and windy. The people that live around here and see this every day, some people would be like, take it for granted. And it's just be here now. I learned it. It was a big phrase for a while there. Everybody was saying be here now, and I wasn't ready for it. I didn't know what it meant. But wherever you're at, whether it's carrying a bag of food out from Culver's to a car and you're blessing it and saying peace, love, and happiness to you and anybody else that comes in contact with you and the entire universe. And that's what I do all through life now, as I go out and I'm like, I see everything, a bird, a little groundhog earlier, and I'm like, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing your purpose, whatever that is. And you're beautiful. I love you. And, everything is part of the process of life, and if something bothers you, get away from it. I look at everything differently now. If something is causing you pain all the time, get away from it. You have to, whether it's friends, family, jobs, relationships, spouse, whatever. It doesn't even matter. Your car, just, you know what? Just, yeah, there's my Reiki stomach. And I've eaten today, so it's not hunger, but it's like my Reiki stomach saying, yes, exactly. Just be here now and do whatever you need to do. And then everything on top of that is gravy. If gravy's a good thing for you, it might not be. Might be a bad analogy for some. But it's just my entire life I've been cursed with looking at things from every possible angle and be like, ooh, this will offend so-and-so, or ooh, that this will hurt so-and-so, or this will hurt them, or that, or this. And it's like, I can't. There's no way you can't do anything in life without hurting somebody. You can't. Because if you're just breathing, if you're negative, if you're just negative at all, you're hurting everything. You're hurting the entire collective because we're all connected. So if you hurt, I hurt, we all hurt. And I don't like it. So I'm going to keep letting my intuition guide me to these amazing places and having these inspirational thoughts. And I'm just going to live. And I'm going to be here now. Ah, the sage smells so amazing. If you could just smell it, imagine it. It needed to happen because, as you can imagine, I'm living in my car pretty much. So it's probably pretty rank, but it smells wonderful to me. Just man, this is just. I say I love you in every one of my videos. Well, I try to anyway. If I haven't, then the love was there. Whoa. I think my intuition is saying to go be here now. Just like I was just saying in my video. And I'm gonna enjoy this drive with this amazing smelling sage from Robert and his beautiful wife. And this beautiful countryside, the most beautiful I've seen yet. And I'm going to continue on my journey of life. And just know that I love you. I love everything, everybody, every single living thing, and then some, even the inanimate things like Earth. Actually, Earth is very alive. It's quite evident. I mean, oceans and the rivers and lakes and streams and everything are the veins. But Mother Earth is alive, and she feels amazing. And I was earthing again today with my feet, and so I need to continue my journey, go pack up all my stuff, and actually hope somebody can help me sell it and take a nice commission. But just help me sell all my material items that I don't want to keep. I'm going to keep the sentimental ones, and birds of prey, or actually those look more like vultures, scavengers. Their purpose, I believe, is to clean up all of our shit, and then animals that die. But and that's why flies and maggots and all these things appear to consume dying, decaying flesh that isn't edible to creatures anymore. And all these things have purposes. And then, so, all these movies like A Bug's Life and these different things, I always loved them because it was like, somebody else's view of what it might be like to be an ant or a bug or a ladybug, and a male ladybug, and have that stereotype. But yeah, I've always thought outside the box, and I've always thought deeply, and I was told at a very young age to pretty much shut the fuck up. Get the fuck away. Stop making noises. Stop being annoying. And I shut the fuck up. And I stopped being annoying. And I stopped being myself. And I started holding in everything I was letting out by being goofy and being a kid. We can learn a lot from our children. And then we program them to be like us. Oh my God. We're parenting the wrong way. Watch your children emulate your children. Obviously, keep them safe, but watch what they do and follow their lead, because the the children are the future. Yeah, I suck at singing, but I'm getting better. But the children are the future, are our future, and everybody thinks that, because it's like eventually they'll grow up into adults. That's what I was thinking. But the way I look at it now is the children are our future, because when they pop out of the womb, they're they're not programmed. They're like fresh. They're like, their soul is free, and their soul is like, the reason they cry is because they're being constrained. You know, it's like, oh, I'm giving this kid everything they could possibly ever want and then some, but why are they still crying? And it's because you're giving them too much. you know, for some, maybe the kid doesn't want to be strapped in all day. Maybe, it's like convenient for us, but it's like, so constricting for them. And then, the things that they eat or try to eat, it's like, ooh. But then, have you ever done some of them? Like, I can literally go back in my childhood and say I ate dirt, and somewhere along the line, I was like reprogrammed to hate textures, or I don't know. It was weird because, you know, late in my Navy career, they diagnosed me with Asperger's, which is high functioning autism. If you're not sure familiar, but and they didn't. They were like, well, you've already done like 18 years, and obviously you've been on 6 submarines now, so it doesn't affect your job. So we're not gonna put it in your record. And then some of my psychological stuff, like thinking outside the box or whatever, and they're like, yeah, we'll just keep that between us, and we won't put it in your record because that would disqualify you submarines. And I'm like, wow. Yes, I should have been disqualified submarines. I don't think anybody should be qualified submarines. I mean, you can you can think it's a necessary evil, or whatever, or, there's a purpose, or you know water superiority or whatever. It's like we're programmed to believe war is necessary, and I don't believe it is. You know, I think I believe we can all live in unity. I've felt it my entire life, and probably my previous lives. I think that's why I incarnated. And these are my beliefs, that we choose where we incarnate. Some believe we choose our name. I think that's pretty cool. I've been on a quest to find out why I'm Bart, and the best I could hear is Uncle Bud, and that's what Dad said for years or whatever. But recently I asked him about Uncle Bud, and he told me a story that Uncle Bud died when he was a teenager, and they were out drinking together when he was 16, and he was out drinking with his Uncle Bud, and Uncle Bud fell down the stairs backwards and smashed his head open and died 3 days later. And that the family blamed him, blamed my dad. I don't know if that's true, because we've been looking in genealogy.com and all this other stuff trying to find an Uncle Bud, and we can't find one. So it's did an angel whisper in my dad's ear and be like, "Hey, call him Bart," you know, and it's Uncle Bud wants it, whatever. I don't know. Maybe he had an uncle named, that had a different name, but he named him Bud because Daryl, my oldest brother who passed away last summer, he would call me Bud and Buddy, and I'm sure he called everybody Bud and Buddy because that's what I do. But it's a term of endearment, you know. I don't use the word Bud or Buddy lightly, you know. My son is Bud and Buddy and has been for his entire life. But I use it sparingly, but I used it sparingly in the past. I don't know what I'm going to do in the future because it isn't here yet. But in the meantime, I'm going to be here now, and I'm going to stop getting off on these tangents. My intuition just takes over and just goes, but I'm going to stop it at 30 minutes. But I'm going to soak in some more of this amazing beauty and this amazing smell of the sage from Robert and his beautiful wife. And I'm going to try to bless everything and everywhere I go and everybody I come in contact with and bring them up. I'm going to be a bubbler. And, like, I would totally be like Richard Simmons with less flair, with less, like, just flames shooting out of his butt or whatever people wanted to say back in the day. You know, I would, when I judged gay people, it never felt good. Never felt right to judge them. And it was just, that's the way I was programmed, you know. My dad was a huge homophobe, and maybe he was molested as a boy. Many people were, I'm finding. To my knowledge, I wasn't. But honestly, I believe I'm an earth angel, and I was put here to break the cycle of pain in at least my family, if not the entire universe. Who knows? I think big. And it's not ego. It's like, why isn't that possible? Every single thing we do affects the universe. The love I send out is universal. If, I go by somebody and, in the streets and they're doing meth or something, it's like, oh, I don't judge. I hurt. And it's like, how bad can your life hurt if you're willing to do that to escape it? You know? And I convulse just thinking about it, about the type of pain you have to be in to do some of the things that people do to themselves. And I used to do horrible things to myself, mainly with alcohol. I never abused any other drugs. I use marijuana now, and it's legal here. But it saved my life. It absolutely did. It helped me chill the fuck out and